Thank you.
Logan, if you lead us in the pledge.
Yes. Stand, salute, and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, review and adoption of the agenda, and we have, we've added something, 7F, right, or no way?
Yeah, so if we have a quote from District Fence, we need to add it under 7H and then move the reports down.
Under what?
7H.
Just right here, that is 7.
Yeah, if you, and here's something that Ray just mentioned, if we'd like to add it under 7E, it's gonna be part of that budget amendment, but it's a quote we have to approve on top of it. Because the quote itself is over 5,000. So you can have it added under 7.
It's not, because it's gonna be separate motions.
It'll be separate motions, but it's however you wanna handle it, 7E or 7H.
All right, do I hear a motion?
Y'all make that motion.
All right, all in favor? Thank you. Approval of the minutes, April 22nd, 2024, regular meeting minutes. Make a motion whenever ready.
I'll make a motion for the minutes for April 22nd, 2024 regularly.
All right, all in favor? Thank you. Public comment?
We have two, Johnny Childers.
Thank you. The Hildebran Heritage Museum got its start 20 years ago in one room of the original school building, which was first occupied in 1917, which we lost in 2016, I think it was. Many people have a hand in the beginning of the museum. Some of those folks were present here tonight. But Zeno Crump's access to many photos and other artifacts served as the impetus for a museum honoring the 70 years from 1917 to 1987 of the Hildebran School's existence. In 2011, the museum moved to the basement of the school's former auditorium, which is now the town of Hildebran's municipal auditorium. The town council has allowed us to add rooms in the basement as needed since then, so that we will hopefully soon have exhibits in every room in the basement except for room 101. Alumni and friends of the school have added to our memorabilia collection regularly over the past 13 years since I've been involved. However, the space itself, the basement of the auditorium, is among the most important artifacts that we have. Every student from 1957 to 1987 spent time in the auditorium. There were the weekly assembly programs in those days in which students either performed or enjoyed from the seats. In addition, almost every student spent time on the lower level in especially the music program students. The award-winning music program of Hildebran High School and Junior High School made the community proud under the leadership of 3 great music program teachers, Edison Day in the 50s, J. Jerome Williams in the 70s, and John Mode in the 60s, and John Mode in the 70s. Other students had a class in one of the 2 large rooms, which are now the Zeno Crump room and the Farm and Factory room, which are at the west end of the basement. I personally had driver's education class in one of those rooms. To sum up, since 2011, the lower level of the auditorium has served our community well as a repository of its collective memory regarding its school days. When former students visit for the first time, and we've had a lot of that, you can observe their appreciation, and almost always they express their sincere appreciation for what has been done. And I think a lot of you got a copy of a handout showing what HHDA has done over the years. That was prepared by Karen. I wasn't involved until 2011, and a lot that's on that list I wasn't aware of until I saw it tonight.
Yeah, we reached time unless the board wants to allow additional, that's 3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is that okay with the board?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Didn't think it was gonna take that. Okay, as an example of how we spend our fundraising dollars, in addition to that list, but I was dispensed with that. The volunteer hours spent preparing for visitors and receiving them on the Thursdays, and especially during cruise-in days, has been a labor of love for us as we seek to honor the people, young and older, who have created an aura of royal pride in our old school, the town of Hildebran, and our community. Last paragraph. HHDA sincerely appreciates the town council's support of the museum throughout these 20 years. We hope to be here well in the future. To that end, we are asking that the council consider a 5-year lease agreement when you vote, when that comes up for a vote, which would encourage us that you are with us and we can count on your continued support. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lynn Moore.
Good evening, my name is Lynn Mull. I was born and raised in Hildebran, and I've tried to remain close to my roots throughout the years. I've been involved with HHDA for a number of years now, and I appreciate the effort that the organization puts into preserving the heritage of our small town. Working alongside the town for many years, we've put a great deal of time, work, money, and sometimes tears into restoring the old band room as well as other rooms in the basement of the auditorium. We've made an effort to turn back time to walk through Hildebran's past. Many people have supported us through volunteering, donations, physical labor, and we are visited by school groups, alumni. We've had other local museums bring groups and others. We're very proud of our history and our current museum, and we're excited to continue to share it with others. We also support the community to include hosting Santa Claus, cruise-ins, anonymous donations to community organizations, or just people that we found out have a need. We genuinely just seek to preserve our history and help our fellow neighbors. As treasurer of HHDA, I can say that we have been blessed with donations and donors throughout the years. We're faithful about keeping our 501c3 up to date, our income taxes filed, our insurance intact, and any bills paid efficiently. Due to that standing, I would like to ask the town to please consider extending HHDA's lease contract to 5 years when you vote next month. We want to preserve what we have worked so hard to build, and we feel that we've been diligent in making sure that our lease was paid on time and its conditions followed in full. By extending our lease, you would be pledging that the town is as excited about supporting our town's history as we are. We hope to see the museum continue to grow and attract visitors so that we have the opportunity to share our heritage with everybody that we meet. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. And that's all the public comment. 6 is old business. We have no old business. 7 is new business. 7A, consider approval of contract with Western Piedmont Council of Government for technical planning assistance. That is in your package.
Is that kind of something we just do every year,
I believe every 2 years.
every 2 years?
Yeah, every 2 years. I believe it's a 3.5% increase, but this is your planning services for your
Yeah.
planner 2 times a week, yes. And it'll be the same thing for the next one for your code enforcement services.
I make a motion to approve the contract with Western Piedmont Council of Government for technical planning and assistance.
All in favor? Thank you. 7B, consider approval of contract with Western Piedmont Council of Government for code enforcement services.
Well, I'm gonna get late.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the contract for code enforcement services.
All in favor? Thank you. 7C, consider approval of resolution to oppose City of Charlotte Interbasin transfer request. Logan, you wanna tell them what this is about? Because I haven't heard
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, if you haven't seen one of the several papers circulating, but Charlotte has asked to increase their interbasin water transfer from 30 million gallons a day to 63 million gallons per day. Concord and Kannapolis also take an additional 10 million gallons per day, which makes the total transfer, if approved, 73 million gallons per day out of the Tyler River Basin. As of last Thursday, all of the following municipalities and county governments have opposed the transfer. The list included Burke County, Caldwell County, Claremont, Gamel, Maiden, Marion, McDowell County, Morganton, Newton, and Valdez. In the meeting several weeks ago, other municipalities voiced that they also plan to oppose by the end of the month. They included Hickory, Lenore, and many others. Again, by the end of the month. So if you do want to pass this resolution, it will be given along with the rest of the municipalities that end up passing it, but we will need a motion.
I'll make a motion to oppose the City of Charlotte interbasin transfer request.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, 7D, consider approval of temporary non-NCDOT road closure permit. And that's for the road behind us here. It's a town road rather than a state road. When they
play softball.
When they play softball, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, 7E, consider approval of quote to repair sewer line and budget amendment. And anyway, that's where we added the fence, right?
Yeah, so just to cover that, what, I believe it was at the last meeting, Quist had quoted, replacing the line out here. I believe it was 200 to 250 feet at 4 inches of line for $7,500 or 7,000 to 7,500. After further review, they have looked at it. It will be 300 feet of line and 6-inch pipes that they're gonna have to replace. So that quote has now went to somewhere in the neighborhood of $14,500 to $15,500, just depending on the amount of work they have to do. I do have a second company coming out this Thursday to look at it. If you would like to wait on that amount, however, what you can do is approve this quote at $14,500 to $15,500, and if the next quote is a little bit less, we can go with that one. We're just approving the amount. The one thing to consider is if we do not go with Quist, there could be a service call. That could end up affecting how much, if the other one's cheaper, but not cheaper than their quote plus the service call, you may just want to stay with Quist. But staff does, to do the work, we do need a motion and vote by council on the approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the, up to 15.5 based on this price.
All in favor? 7F, first reading of the fiscal year 2020. I'll skip some.
Yeah, the second piece to that, for the amendment also included the fence. We did get two
I
quotes.
said that, didn't
So we did see two quotes, one from Moss Marlowe, one from Pfister Fence. Pfister Fence is a direct fencing company. They provided two amounts. One was, if you want to turn to it in your budget or in your packet, 7E. Or I'm sorry, this was the additional. Yeah, the addition we've added. One was only to go to 8 feet, but it would be running the three individual chain link fences as dividers to those bays that are in the county maintenance building. Again, this was for our nonprofits, Hildebran Little League, HHDA, and then possibly Kathy Stone's or East Burke Youth or the town Hildebran to use that bay, but it would be another bay. So there'd be 3 8-foot posts and fences run from end to end. That price was at $6,079. If you wanted to go all the way to the ceiling, that price was gonna be $7,322, and that was the original request from Hildebran Little League, is that they go all the way to the top, and Eastburg Youth, even though we don't think, they're gonna need a bay now. So we were looking at the $7,322 quote for approval.
So the
I'd
facility,
want to go to.
I'd want to go to the facility.
I'd want to go to the.
Sounds fine for
So
Columbia.
nobody can fly there.
Yeah.
And get, like the baseball, they got their equipment in there, somebody's in one of the others, they go across the fence, get their stuff out. I'd go to the facility, I'd sleep. Keep honest thief out.
That's a word.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the, price for the 10-foot 9-gauge fence. Take care of that.
All in favor? Now we're ready to go.
And now you need a, budget amendment in the amount of $23,000
Okay.
for all the additional work.
Yeah, we've gone through our previous budget amendment, and between the sewer at 8,000, the fence 7,000, and given ourselves an additional cushion of 15 like we did last time, we've got about 7 left in that line item, so we need 23 to finish out the year and give us some money to do if we have anything else come up between now and June 30th.
I'll make it like for a budget amendment.
All in favor? Okay. 7F, first reading of fiscal year 24 through 25 budget and schedule of fees.
So the only notes that we have on it, the budget is balanced at $1,248,165. There are no tax increases proposed in this year's budget. The only change that has not been made in this reading that was discussed during the council's budget retreat was lowering the facade rent down to $10,000 per year, and then moving the non-committed $21,557 to the park budget. But just as a note, and this is a state requirement, the budget is filed with the clerk and available for inspection. And then council will approve the final final version of our budget next month on June 24th. And then we're available for questions if you have them.
Okay. No vote, just discussion. Any
I
discussion?
got it take care of it.
Okay, all right.
I just wanted to say the schedule of fees is the same as what was presented, which is just adding the $100 for private street name change. So that was only.
Can we go back and charge Richard for that retroactive?
No, but
Never mind.
if you did want to consider the lease request extension, now would be the time to.
I'll make that motion to amend the, HHDA museum to 5 years.
The only reason I bring it up is anything longer than a year, you do have to put out 30 days notice. So we would need to get that out this week in time for next month's meeting to meet the 30-day deadline.
And what about the concern at the last meeting that we would need to extend that possibility to the other leasees?
Alice, you probably have a better understanding of all the leases. For the ones that only do $1, probably not a big deal, the youth nonprofit groups. But the other ones, I'd have to have a list on, and it would be up to council.
Well, I think the other ones are kind of,
These
I don't
other-
think we've had a long-term lease like we have with HHDA for 20 years before. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of is.
The rest of them ask for it.
That's something we can consider then, if they do.
All right, so there is a motion. All in favor? Opposed? All right. Thank you. Now we need to call a public hearing for the fiscal year 24 through 25 budget and schedule of fees, which would be next month, I guess. You need a motion. Go back to Julie. Yes, yes. Right, Alice, we need a motion to call
Yes,
for the public hearing, okay?
I mean, June the 24th.
Make a motion to call public hearing June 24, 2004.
All those in favor? Thank you. Okay, 7H, facilities report. That's in your packet, if there's any comment on that. Logan, you don't have anything? It's in your packet, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, no, just other than the budget amendments for the fence and the sewer work, those are the main ones.
Okay. 7I, April tax report. That is in your packet. 7J, April deputy report. It looks a little more full. It looks like it's a little busy.
Yeah, 19 reports, 8 of them, was actually warrant service, 3 overdoses, and a couple of shopliftings and, just usual larcenies. The warrant service, since we were up on that, does everybody know how warrant service operates?
No.
Okay, depending on the type of crime, whether it's misdemeanor or larceny, the magistrate will usually issue a written promise. If you don't show up for court on the written promise, it's a bench warrant, turns into a warrant for arrest. So, majority of these were, criminal summonses that turned into bench warrants. People just not going to court. So, you know, a lot of the, school system, government, and, court system, and Jared can attest to this too, they have no fear about what they do.
Yeah.
None whatsoever, let alone me, in the uniform. So,
All they do is this right here.
and yeah, it comes down to not being held accountable for their actions. So just remember, when it's time to get out and vote next time, you need to get out and vote.
I thought we were talking about law. What was that ordinance about the homeless people? I read something.
I don't think Jared's had a chance to look at this yet. We got to looking in some of the area, municipalities like Denver and Charlotte have adopted a urban.
Camping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the way it's working. Newton.
Yeah.
City has another one.
So we're actually gonna sit down and have Jared look at it, see the verbiage on it, see if there's anything we need to change on it, and we may look at adopting that. To give a little bit more teeth to, as far as trespassing and.
Yeah, Councilmember Honeycutt and Weaver and Smith have kind of brought it up several times, but this would essentially address some of the issues we're having with basically public trespassing, blocking ingress, egress, staying in public spots with, you know, things like backpacks and meals and.
And the situation is, Joe Bob's out here at Dollar General and they want him banned for his trespassing. You know, if they are not willing to go to court for that trespassing charge, then all they have to do is ask them to leave. So, you know, 99% of the time, if you're not on your own property, then you're on somebody else's property. But they don't see it that way, but they won't go and pursue it to go to court. Nobody wants to go to court and sit up there for 3 or 4 hours and nothing happen. So that's kind of where we're at. Nobody wants to do it. So.
It wouldn't fix that issue, but it would fix the issue with the public properties, the auditorium, the town hall.
Town properties.
Town properties.
Even down there, same
And there again, once again, it's, you ask them to leave, then if they don't leave and they remain on the property, then you've got something to do, you know, with it. You can actually arrest them. So, you'll have to determine whether you want to put a fine with it. Obviously, they have no money. You're not gonna get anything, but if you want, you can get them removed. Now, unfortunately, on the other side of that is taxpayers end up paying for it.
And something,
I'm sorry, but that's
Surprise.
honestly,
something,
What, they get to go to jail in 3 months in a car?
they do,
There won't be,
There again.
they'll be let run out.
Okay.
right, and then if they have medical issues, then we end up putting the bill for that too. So it's, people don't understand until
and
they've actually been in it.
And that was something to follow up on Gary's point with the fine, is Rachel and Chad spoke after they got us the,
Copy.
the copy of the ordinances that was passed. Is there something about the fines that you may not wanna do? I think it's gonna be challenged. They mentioned it may go to the Supreme Court on the fines, so you may wanna exclude that, but in terms of the misdemeanors, you should be good to move forward on it.
Now, what about, we had talked about, where the sheriff's office would give a warning letter at the first offense, and then the second offense, they would take them to Burke County Jail.
That is essentially
You
what
will,
this ordinance,
actually, you will take them to the magistrates, you won't take them to jail, so.
but this ordinance would allow you to do that.
Okay. It's because we had talked about that the reason that wasn't being enforced is because Morgan did not want them released up there. They wanted to leave them here.
Well, I think the issue is you do end up releasing them. You know, I think that's what Jared just said, is they end up,
Unless they don't show up, then they.
You get a written, yeah, you get a written promise. I promise I'll be at court, I promise.
Yeah, right.
What about if you
That's
give
just
them
like
a
if you'd have
ride?
anybody stayed
I'm
out
sorry.
here,
What if you give them a ride as far as they can't come back?
that's just like the last meeting, special meeting, we were standing in the parking lot. Tanoka made her bed up here in front of the auditorium on the top underneath the shelter. Am I right?
Rights on everything.
and had a second one almost join her.
Oh,
Yeah, another one
You
walked
run
up
that
there and
second
talked to
one
her with her.
And the worst part about it is, she lives on Gage Street.
If that is an ordinance that council wants to see next month, it would be included in our code of ordinances. I'm assuming we can get it back to you next month. It may have to go to planning board. I don't think it does because it's a code of ordinances. But if that's something you want to see brought back next month, we can bring you a version of that.
I don't think I'm back.
Okay.
Alright. 7K committee report. Technical coordinating committee.
So we did not have an April meeting, but I did send out, they are starting to discuss passenger rail service in our area. There was a presentation given on that in the March meeting. We don't meet again until May 29th, but if you did want to look over that presentation, it's in your inbox. If you have questions, we can forward that to the committee.
Transportation Advisory Committee.
I don't have anything to add.
Western Piedmont Council Government Policy Board.
Next month.
Burke Economic Development.
I did not get a chance to attend this month.
Recreation and Tourism.
Nothing to report.
Water Resource Committee. Vedic.
Okay, Derek met on April the 25th at the Valley Town Hall. The meeting was called to order by Chairperson Tanya Stevenson, and the opening prayer was by Rick Justice. Carrie conducted a financial overview highlighting the profit and loss statements and balance sheets through March. The interest income is still on the rise. New loan applications continue to come into office, and the balance sheet reflects recent loan payoffs with adequate money back in the fund to lend. There were 3 grants that I said that we were working on last month. The ARC, the Appalachian Regional Commission, is a grant for $100,000 that was prepared, and the funds are used to spread out over the risk of our loans. We currently have $200,000 in ARC grants, so this would give us another $100,000, which would be great. Duke Energy has a grant out there between $25,000 and $50,000. If awarded, that it can use this for grants for rural businesses. So we're applying for that. The RBEG Rural Business Development Grant application has been submitted and it was accepted, and then we're waiting on results. We hopefully will get them at the next meeting. A motion was made and carried for our attorney to send demand letters to 2 clients that are delinquent and have not responded to telephone calls. And those are the Yes. Eddie Regency reviewed the payments from the clients, including updated delinquent report. No changes with most of the payments from our clients. The result of the 2024 client survey was shared with the board. 80% of those surveyed responded. Most clients are happy with their status and the outlook for the future. Many businesses on our delinquent reports did not unexpectedly reported that they weren't doing well. The surveys also provided guidance for future technical assistance possibilities to help these people who are having some problems. Sherry Long was appointed as nominating chairman for the nominating committee. The next dedicated board meeting is Thursday, May the 23rd.
Burke County Library Board of Trustees, we didn't have a meeting this month. Events Committee, we didn't have a meeting this month. And there's all committees. 8, other business.
I have something.
Okay.
So we had, Donna Rodak, I'm sorry if I pronounced her name wrong. She's with American Red Cross, she stopped by. She would like is requesting that the town host a blood drive. Normally they need like 800 to 1,200 square feet. It is like 46 hours, normally during a weekday. It's 1-day event. If we do the gym, she said they have their own floor coverings that they will come out and do, so that'd be something we wouldn't have to do. They are doing, if we commit, and we do one in July, there's a $100 incentive that they give the town. And then if we do 2 in the year timeframe, there's a $500 incentive that they would give the town. But she just wanted to know if that was something that we would be interested in doing. She said they'll give us the materials, all that we would have to do is promote our Facebook and reader board and things like that.
So they want to do a blood drive in the gym, and they're gonna supply all the everything they need. We just need to supply a place when we do it.
Blood.
We just need to swap blood.
Blood.
Got the motion for that, we need a motion. Think it'd be useful.
All right, all in favor? All right, thank you.
The only other thing I was gonna add for other business is the planning work for the Burke River Trail where it's gonna be placed. That feasibility study we got, there was no funds involved, but we did get, through the North Carolina Department of Commerce, a free feasibility study, just one by ACOM. So they are now finished with that and ready to have a public meeting on it. They're looking at possibly next week or the week after. I can send you dates once they're ready to have that, but we would probably want to be in attendance for that meeting. So is it okay if I send council just a couple of dates on when you might be able to meet one evening? Okay, that's all.
All right, got all the other business? Okay. Announcements? Okay, then I guess 10, closed session. Need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion, go into closed session.
All in favor? Thank you. I want to politely ask y'all to leave.
Everybody will recess for a few minutes. I'll let everybody leave.
Okay, y'all want to recess?
I'm fine.
Whatever you want, that don't matter to me.
You're fine, you don't need to say it.
We're trying to ask the future one. Okay.
I'll
tell you.
Hey, I'm not gonna condemn you, I used to eat them, I promise you that. I'd eat them, I mean, I was 3 packs a day on average.
Yeah, that's.
They told me I had COPD, that's something they had to tell me. And I've never had another problem with it.
Well, good for you. I had
My
a
God,
sister-in-law that had COPD and it was like that.
You sure?
And still did. I mean, still kept some.
But they told me I had the first stages.
I don't
It scared me.
Yeah.
Kay quit, I quit. And well, she didn't fuck me in the pack
We'll take them up before we leave. And that's.
for 4 days. I ate enough for both of
I'll
us.
probably take that.
Imagine.
I don't need to go back in yet.
But
I'll
I
have to
still
put
have
it
sleep
in.
apnea. I said, breathing machine. And I can tell you something, I wouldn't do without my CPAP.